Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to talk about what I like to call reverb augmentation, and that is having a reverb and then an effect after the reverb to augment it. And this stems from me kind of dragging in the Ableton Reverb device and not really knowing what to do or how to make it sound the way I want it to. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So I have this idea here, trip hop down tempo, whatever you want to call it, and I have a kick and a little percussion here. It sounds like this. And I want to put that into a space with reverb, and I want it to sound cool and stuff like that. So I drag that in, and I play around with the wet dry, and that sounds all well and neat, but it's not what I'm looking for. It's kind of I want something a bit. I want more reverb. So what I would do is I would increase the decay time and play around with the reflect and diffuse and things like that, the diffuse network and the size, density, scale. And I would play around with all that, and I wasn't getting what I was looking for. And I really didn't know how any of this worked, so that was my other problem. But if you increase the decay time, it would just kind of smudge it all together, which I didn't like either. And that would just busy things up. So what I would do is I want the actual reverb to be louder. So I slowly or quickly discovered that if you plop a compressor after the reverb, turn off makeup and bring down the attack, bring the threshold down, and then increase the output. The actual reverb is louder, and that's how the compressor works. And when I discovered this, I was like, oh yeah, so it is, the series of kind of what we're doing. And this is what I call reverb augmentation. And it's once you kind of break through the barrier and figure it out, you're like, okay, what else are the possibilities? Well, hold on to your hats or your cowboy hats. So that's with it off. This is with it on. And that's a neat way to adjust the reverb that way. So reverb can also do something a little bit tricky. I'm going to actually do this in a different way. I'm going to increase so it's 100% wet, and then I'm going to group the reverb, open this tab, create a new chain. So I have one dry and then one reverb. So I have kind of independent control of the wet dry. You should know this by now. So I'm listening to just the reverb. So what I can do is I can add an EQ, the shelf, to make the reverb kind of more brighter using the shelf here. And here's what it sounds like with the original as well. Right, and I'm not even touching anything in here. This is all basic, like default. I'm shaping and augmenting the reverb with effects here. And I can make it bright. And I can make it dark. And dark is really important for a lot of modern music. The reverb is just shelved all to hell, and it works. But you lose a lot of the character, not the character. You lose a lot of the reverb when you do it that way. But it does sound dark. So what do you do here? Well, add a compressor. Why not? No one will find out. And what that does is that brings up that reverb again. This is something that I enjoy doing. So from there, all right, let's take this several more steps. So we have our reverb here. What else can we do? Well, let's plop a pedal on there. Because why not? And what this will do is this will give color to the reverb only. So it'll sound like this. that's just with the overdrive. We have distort as well. We got fuzz. But I like overdrive a bit, and we can even adjust the color here. Or if we're feeling adventurous and we have the CPU, which we do, we can adjust the color here as well. Maybe with a low pass. We'll get sound designy with it. So the frequencies being fed into the pedal are different. And then we can have post EQ. Yay! Post EQ is pretty dope. We can make it different or the same or what have you. We can high pass it as well. Like the possibilities are endless. Right? So it's a completely different character of a reverb, and you're like, how does that work? Well, that's basically how you do it. You separate things and you augment the reverb, and that's how you do it. You can also, if you wanted to, I don't know, if you wanted to get a little bit more adventurous, you can add a delay to the reverb, which gives it another sense of rhythm. Kind of elongates the reverb that you've augmented. And from there, you have to be careful because any change you make here will be exaggerated because of what we're doing here. So we increase the decay time, and it might be a good idea depending on the vibe of your song. That might be a little bit too much. You can also adjust the pre-delay as well. And that sounds weird, but whatever. But there you have it. That is Reverb Augmentation. Hope you learned stuff. Take care and have a good one.